connecting your brain and body with interactive games and tests. Why is there no physical activity in today's health physical? Trazer is an holistic technology used to rehabilitate, prevent falls, and improve sport performance. Trazer reports provide you, your clinician, your physical therapist, or athletic trainer objective data to make decisions on your health and performance over time. Measure what matters to change your game. Take the Trazer Challenge. Confidence, growth, connected by Trazer.
Bolt gets out pretty well, so does Rodgers come next to him. Gordon once again to the sideline.
At Fusion Sport, we're all about driving human performance. We develop and support a range of technologies all designed to assist people to be their best. Smarterbase is used by hundreds of elite sporting organisations across the globe, and more recently has been used by the military and performing arts as well.
Our Smarterbase technology has at the heart of it an integrated and connected philosophy. What's different about Smarterbase is that it's truly flexible and self-engineerable. That really puts the power into our customers' hands, and it allows them to use it in unique ways that perhaps we haven't even thought of.
We don't tell them the rest of the field, but here comes Jimmy Stone.
What's going on, everybody? Good evening and welcome to the Sports Arena. I'm your man, Eric Wilson, on a beautiful Monday night here. Thank y'all for tuning and chiming in. We look forward to it each and every Monday, getting with y'all. Let me go ahead and get the crew in here this evening so we can get this party started. As always, first off, our girl 806, the Sip Off, Dallas Wings sports writer, Miss Megan Price. What's up, Megan?
How you doing?
I'm all right. You all right? You having some late nights today? I'm just checking in with you. You good?
Man, tonight too, I got 3:30 in the morning after their first games, the ladies' first game. So, I'm just excited to have the opportunities, but yeah, I'm sleep deprived.
Oh, girl, I'm going to tell you right now, ladies and gentlemen, you were watching the Queen elevate her game to a whole nother level. Much love to you, Megan, because you're doing what none of the gentlemen here are doing. So this is how you set yourself apart from the rest of us.
Definitely.
Let me go ahead and get our man, Florida Sun Review and Next Gen Sports Network's own Mr. Alex Fleming's in the building. What's up, bro? Good evening, sir. How are you? Looking fresh.
I'm watching a star rise among us. Megan just needed air and opportunity, and lo and behold, she's kicking ass and taking names.
Thank you.
Yeah, for real, for real. Next up, we got our man, Sideline Sports, Cardiac Kane. I'm going to start calling him our official insider because this man drops information before anybody else does. John Shear.
No doubt.
What's up, man? How are you?
Oh, I'm doing pretty well. I'm a week out from Canton. I cannot wait.
Oh,
Ooh.
Man, I know. You and Mr. Fleming going to be doing it big up there in Ohio. Now, just do me a favor, John. Make sure Alex gets back on the plane and comes on home. Okay, we need Alex back. So just
I might keep him for myself. Not sure yet.
Last but not least, my brother Michael Caratanudo, Believe in the Pac-12 podcast. Mike, what's up, man? How are you?
Well, John's going to have to keep an eye on Alex because the Cleveland Browns fans are going to see, we're irrelevant. They're going to like take him on a long detour trip and maybe take him to Canton, but then leaving Canton, they'll probably take him on a bus ride back to Florida.
I don't know, but we just not.
It's the only parade they got.
Shots fired.
Well, the Cavs had a parade a few years ago, but
they did. And that was something to truly behold. But, there's big talk coming out of that Cleveland camp. We may get into that tonight, but I want to start the conversation this evening here on the Sports Arena talking about Aaron Rodgers. Now, when I did the rundown this morning, full transparency, y'all, I was fully anticipating that a deal would not even be working or done or even close to where they have it currently as it is right now. So I want to get everybody's thoughts on, I guess, if you will, since Aaron Rodgers and Davante Adams put it out there, the quote unquote last dance of these two going into this NFL season. And of course, I'm going to start with our girl, Miss Megan Price. What are your thoughts on that, Megan?
Well, they're pretty close, like you said, to finalizing a deal. Like originally, he wasn't set to be a free agent until 2023. We've heard reports that the receivers weren't showing up to camp, that Davante Adams had not. He had discontinued talks about his extension. Now it's looking like they will probably have this deal finalized by in the morning. Aaron Rodgers will be out of there by the end of this season. He will play through this season, and then he will also not be able to be hit with a franchise tag. So basically, he'll be able to play anywhere of his choosing by the end of this season. I think this is the best that you can do out of this situation. This is as good as it's going to get. At least he's not sitting out for the entire season. But, and then he's going to be out of there. But, Green Bay has the curse of not keeping their quarterbacks any longer than 17 seasons. So this will be 18 now, and that'll be it.
All right. So let me get our man, Ty Ray, joining us as well. Say what, say it again. Tuesday nights. Make sure you tune him and his crew tomorrow on Facebook, iHeart, and YouTube. But I want to go to John Shear because, John, Megan touched on something that I want to bring up. She said that pretty much, if you will, this is the swan song for those two. And Green Bay has a way of not retaining their potential Hall of Fame quarterbacks. Why do you think that is, John Shear?
Well, I can't really put it that way because how many franchises have one quarterback for 17 or 18 seasons? Name me how many franchises have that many quarterbacks in their history. So let's not put it that way because that's still a long time. But this is twice now where a Hall of Fame quarterback gets driven out of Green Bay and wants to go play elsewhere. So they better enjoy this season because Jordan Love is their guy, I guess, for next year. I don't believe in him. Then they're going to probably have to get rid of Davante Adams because based on those tweets, it sounds like Davante Adams wants to go where Aaron Rodgers goes. So enjoy Aaron Rodgers for one more year and Davante Adams for one more year because then you're probably going to have to put up with Adams wanting to go. And once you get rid of Davante Adams and Aaron Rodgers, what do you really have left? Because the defense is okay, and Aaron Jones isn't going to be as good as we think he is when there's no Adams and Aaron Rodgers covering it up. And then the receiving core is bad. The offensive line's all right. The rest of the receiving core is trash. So really this team is just going to be a dumpster fire if you get rid of those two, in my opinion, because those two are the glue holding this all together.
All right, now it's going to open the door next season for the Chicagos of the world and possibly the Minnesotas and Detroits of the world to kind of step up. But we'll talk about that at a later time.
Well, let's not say Detroit.
Well, I'm saying anything is possible. Let's say anything is possible. But let me get Alex Fleming in here because, Alex, this is one or pretty much the only team that does not have an owner, if you will. Does that speak to reasons why players will play for Green Bay and then kind of, as John said, maybe get pushed out because there is no real true at the top, if you will. There's not that one person. There's a conglomerate, if you will.
All right, let me get to these whole there's no owner type synopsis. Now, if I was an owner or if I had stock in the Green Bay Packers, I'd have fired Murphy and Gutekunst for getting rid of not one, but two Hall of Fame quarterbacks. And for some odd reason, not listening to the guy who's always got you in playoff contention. Riddle me this, Batman. In the entire span that Aaron Rodgers has been the starting quarterback, how many times did they miss the playoffs? How many?
0, 1. Okay, 1.
Okay, 6-9-1, the Bears season. Let me get back to my point. Not one, but two Hall of Fame quarterbacks are unhappy with this organization. They want to get out. But, ooh, wait, there's more. Aaron already said that he's not going to sign a contract that was going to make him the highest paid quarterback. And we're talking about Patrick Mahomes' money because he's making, what, $45 million a year? Yeah. And then in the offseason, while he's off frisking with his fiance and his ex-boyfriend and girlfriend on the side and all that other good stuff, he happens to call Devontae and say, hey, I'm not playing next year. So all of a sudden, talks of getting a contract extension with Devontae has gone sour now at the end of July. Who made that happen? Aaron Rodgers. Who made Robert Tonyan, the tight end, who went undrafted, a name to have in fantasy? Aaron Rodgers. Who made Aaron Jones, who was already good, better? Aaron Rodgers. Who covers up a lot of those holes on the defense because they can't stop you or me in coverage from the linebacker position, and King gets burnt? Alexander's good as long as he's not dealing with Adam Thielen or Allen Robinson. But who makes them a lot better because he has ball control on offense? Aaron Rodgers. And the funny thing is they couldn't franchise tag Aaron any damn way. He's been with the organization, as Megan said, 17 years. Like Tom Brady, he could just walk out the door. I think he's being nice by at least allowing them to make a plan after he's gone. But being a former Chicago Bear fan and growing up in Chicago, I'm smiling from the inside and out because with him gone, it is truly going to be the monsters of Midway's division. Detroit is garbage. Minnesota still has Kirk Cousins. And no Aaron Rodgers or Devontae Adams? Oh, God. Green Bay is going to be the sorry Swiss cheese Packers of the 70s and early 80s.
You stole exactly what I was going to say. Chicago has to be licking their chops when Justin Fields gets this job, because what other quarterback is there in the division for Justin Fields to compete with years down the road for the next 5 years as of right now?
All right.
I wish this was T.
Mike and Tyree, I definitely want to get your thought and your analysis on this.
I got a question.
Please.
So, obviously I already know what everybody's going to say because everybody on this show is thinking there's some type of fortune teller. So I think I already know the answer, but I'm going to ask that question anyways. When Brett Favre left, did anybody think that Aaron Rodgers is going to be what he is now?
Yes.
I knew Aaron was good.
Didn't he get hurt against the Cowboys?
I didn't ask that. What I'm saying is, I don't think we could just granted, Aaron Rodgers is great. I'm not taking nothing away from Aaron Rodgers. He's probably the second best quarterback right now, only behind Patrick Mahomes. That's just my opinion. I mean, somebody's might have a different opinion. But I don't think we could just think that Jordan Love is just trash. Now, do I think they'll take a step back? Of course. But the Packers have been running the NFC North. I don't know, the last 20-something years. They've been running it since I've been alive. I know that for a fact.
Ty, here's my reason, and then, Mike, I will kick it over to you. Here's my reason why I say yes, because he sat behind Brett Favre. That's why I say I was predicting, and I was in the mindset that once Brett Favre left, Aaron Rodgers took over. And you have to look at the coaching aspect of it, too. Granted, McCarthy may not be anything in Dallas, but in Green Bay, he was somebody. And who did he learn from? He learned from Mike Holmgren. So you're bringing some of that knowledge into, your team. And if you can just kind of follow suit, same way that Aaron Rodgers did after Brett Favre, that's why, in my opinion, they didn't miss a beat. That's why I say yes. Go ahead.
He's only mentioning Holmgren because he's a former Eagle.
Ty, I want to answer your question.
Hold on real quick. Hold on 1 second. I just want to say something real quick. So you don't think that you said that Aaron Rodgers had the opportunity to sit behind Brett Favre, right?
Yes.
All right. Aaron Rodgers is so great. Jordan Love has the opportunity to sit behind Aaron Rodgers, correct?
He's not sitting behind him.
But it's only one season.
Sitting behind him.
But it's only one season.
He wasn't even dressed at all last year. He was the third string. He wasn't dressed at all. That says something when you're a first-round pick and they don't even dress you because you're not even close to being ready. That says something. Rodgers was dressed in his rookie year. He wasn't the third string and not even close to being NFL ready. There's a big difference. And then this year, they're going to put him in the same spot if Rodgers is there again.
All right, Mike, go ahead. You've been patient with this one. And then, Alex, I will come back to you. Mike, please, go ahead.
Yeah, all y'all zip it because I will try to answer your question. To answer your question, I guarantee I'm the only one that watched Aaron Rodgers play at Cal. And I guarantee you Jeff Tedford was his coach.
I didn't watch him.
My bad. I knew he was gonna. I mean, look, he could have. He was if Cal would have had a little bit better defense, they definitely would have probably been. He would have been up for a Heisman. So Aaron Rodgers, yes, looks great. And you all forget about revisionist history. They didn't want to get rid of Brett Favre. Brett Favre threatened to retire and said he's going to retire for 9 straight years. And I love Brett Favre. Don't get me wrong. He said he was retiring for 9 straight years. And yeah, Aaron Rodgers had to sit there, and Aaron Rodgers did learn from him. John, I do disagree with you because Jordan Love is still practicing with Aaron Rodgers. So to Ty's point, he is sitting behind him. But this whole thing with Devontae Adams too. Well, all right, let me answer Aaron Rodgers' thing first. He can still come back to Green Bay next year. Everybody's saying it's too bad, this and that. I'm just saying it's still set up to where he can come back to Green Bay. It doesn't mean that he's going to stay or sign there. He still can. And Devontae Adams, I'm sorry, it's not in his first contract. They can franchise tag him. So go ahead. Don't sign your extension because they're not going to let him go with Aaron Rodgers. They're going to spite Aaron Rodgers in that way. And who says the team's going to have enough money? Devontae Adams gets franchise tagged. As for Aaron Rodgers, Eric, you know I can't stand his body language, but I'm with Ty. You know I love his talent because the guy is ridiculous. And he got on the blame. It wanted Mike McCarthy out, got on the whole blame train. You're the quarterback, man. If any of us were the quarterback, you can call audibles. You can call audibles. Nobody's saying oh, it's your first year. You call this play. It's the NFL, man. You see something, you call an audible. So, again, his talent is sick. This whole thing, again, I know the whole thing with Adam Schefter, it was true. He doesn't want to be there. He didn't want to talk. He wanted everybody to talk about him, and that's fine. He wanted to be more relevant than the Cleveland Browns whole season, according to Alex, which is true. So he was more relevant in the offseason. I'm just saying, look, anybody that if he gets to leave next year, they're not going to – it's not a trade. His contract's up after next year. So he's going to go wherever he wants, right? And granted, there's quite a few teams that would take him. If I'm a team now, though, I'm begging to trade for him right now. That's the thing. I mean, yeah, okay. When I say right now, I meant this offseason, before you got to training camp. I'm begging to trade for him because I know we're going to get to DeShaun Watson, but
thank you.
There are certain teams, and John, I'm actually not picking on you because when we get to DeShaun Watson, there's Miami to me is an interesting cog in this, but there are certain teams like Denver would have given up a lot for Aaron Rodgers. John Elway, I know he's not GM anymore, but he would have been like, yeah, let's get him in here for 1 year. We know he's got the arm to bomb the ball all over Mile High, and now you put him in the division with Patrick Mahomes. Mike, be insane.
Mike, let me in.
Let me just say one last thing. If Aaron Rodgers, to your point on defense, so I was going to say that, Alex, to your point on defense, yes, there are years that they didn't do a lot on defense, but there are years that they did more on defense, and Aaron Rodgers didn't get it done in the playoffs. Now, look, I do like him. I'm just saying their defense, it's not like the Cleveland defense for years. I'll just end it like that because some of it is his fault too.
Matt LaFleur was the guy who was in Washington and then the guy who made Todd Gurley the man in the Rams organization. I hope you get where I'm getting at. Matt LaFleur likes a ball control offense where he can ground and pound you and have easy play action passes. That's his move once Aaron Rodgers is gone bye-bye. Remember, him and Aaron didn't get along whenever he first got there, but they finished 13-3. Last year, they finished 13-3. Now, do you really think without Aaron Rodgers and that mediocre defense with that suspect corners that they got and no Aaron Rodgers at the helm that they're going to go 13-3 in the NFC North division?
No, not with Jordan Love.
Please lie to me. Please lie to me.
I'm not saying Jordan Love in his first year, Alex, but I'm just saying that if you have a runner and Devontae Adams isn't going to be gone, he's either going to be franchise tagged or he's going to sign the extension because he's not leaving with Aaron Rodgers next year. That I can guarantee. Because if we're all GMs or whatever in Green, if we're a GM in Green Bay, I'm franchise tagging it. Fine, don't sign your franchise tag. Sit out a whole year, lose a year of free agency because you're not going with Aaron Rodgers.
All right, fair enough. Let me get John and then Megan with the last point, and then we are going to move on. Go ahead, John.
First of all, Eric mentioned Mike Holmgren only because he's a former Eagle, so that's the reason Eric mentioned him. Just wanted to throw that out there. Yeah. And imagine if Aaron Rodgers pulls a Brett Favre and goes to the Vikings and Kirk Cousins is out, and then Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen and Dalvin Cook are with Aaron Rodgers. Could you imagine the spite that Aaron Rodgers
Westbrook?
would get to bring
No,
to the Green
Jefferson.
Bay Packers.
He's
No,
going
he said
back to
Jefferson.
Cali, kids.
Going
He's going
Thielen,
back to
going
Cali.
Jefferson, going Cook.
He's going back to Cali.
All right,
He's going to
That
end
would
up in
be-
California.
final word on the Aaron Rodgers situation, and then we are going to move forward.
Okay, so my question is this, Tyree, you asked how many of us really thought Aaron Rodgers was going to be this when we first saw him, right? Okay, but what is he? How many times has he won the Super Bowl? Does he not have hold on, does he not have one of the easiest roads to make it to the playoffs? We're talking about how trash his division is, right?
Playoffs, yeah.
Yeah, the division is
That's
terrible.
not to the playoffs.
Yeah.
They have one of the easiest roads to the playoffs,
Yeah.
correct? And what has he done with that? And you want to sit there and talk about McCarthy? Don't get me started on him. He's not the one. That's all I have to say.
Hey, but I will say this though. Packers, man. I mean, granted, they've always had a Hall of Fame quarterback since I've been alive, but they've been very fortunate with some wide receivers too. Donald Driver, Jordy Nelson, Devontae
Craig
Adams. Now.
Jennings.
You had Cobb. You had Randall Cobb. I mean, you had Antonio Freeman. He was there when I was younger. You have
Sterling Sharp.
Greg Jennings. I mean, Sterling Sharp. I mean, he was probably at the tail end by the time I was watching football. But I mean,
I think it's actually quite funny that you have 27 years of great Packer football quarterbacks, and you got a total of 2 rings to show for it.
Aaron
Rodgers is not confined by his
I mean,
let's not say he's not confined by his ring.
But John,
I'm not saying he's not great.
But Megan, the whole thing is, and like Alex has said, like we've all said, yeah, the Bears have popped up a few years in the division. I know the Vikings have popped up here and there in the division. The Lions, one thing. But the point is, easy division doesn't mean easy in playoffs, because there are times, I mean, even when Aaron Rodgers there.
Come on, Mike. They had to play us. I mean, it was easy. It was easy.
But the NFC's the better. I'm just saying, the top end conferences, the NFC's the better conference. I'm not saying now, but I'm saying early in his career, that trajectory. And
when they beat us, they were beating a rookie back. That's it. It was a rookie at that time.
Brett Favre had the same. No, but I'm saying in his whole career, Brett Favre had the same thing. Alex knows this. A crap division, but in the playoffs, they're playing teams from divisions that beat the crap out of each other, and it was tougher. That's my. I get what you're saying, and you're right. But the point is, easy division doesn't mean success in the playoffs, because guess what? You're not playing your division.
I understand, and I'm not saying that he's not great. I'm just saying his road to get there has been easy peasy.
Oh yeah.
Hey, I'm just saying. I know they done ran into us a couple times and got slapped up.
I want to touch on Megan's point really quick, because I think that's something that we kind of neglect sometimes. Is usually in each division there is a powerhouse team, if you will, that everybody else is trying to beat. It's Big Brother and then the 3 little stepbrothers. I mean, sometimes it's 2 and 2, whatever.
The Cowboys and the rest of the division.
Is Megan going to say anything about Tom Brady?
Let it go.
So I just want to ask Megan that point though. Now, granted, let's take the career of
What
Aaron
about Tom Brady?
You want to talk about an easy path to the division title?
quarterback, but for this particular moment,
in our division.
For this particular moment, we're talking about Aaron Rodgers.
Okay.
I'd like to go back and look at the quarterbacks that Aaron Rodgers within his division he's had to go up against. And I think that plays, well, I won't even say the quarterbacks. Let's look at the defenses. And I think that is where you separate the Packers from the rest of the fold, with the exception of the Bears over the last couple of years.
Sir, my apologies. I'll actually disagree with you, because other than the Bears, he hasn't faced any defense in his division. How about the quarterbacks and the teams? How about the quarterbacks and the teams that he lost to in all these NFC championship games? Because he's 1-5. Matt Ryan steamrolled them, and then they went 28-3. We all remember that. Jermichael Finley couldn't catch an onside kick, and they lost in overtime the first time they played Seattle, and the second time they got barnstormed in the divisional round. Now, again, Mr. Kaepernick wasn't on the squad when the 49ers spanked them like a government mule, but yet that happened. And do we need to remember last year with Tom Brady, whenever Brady gift-wrapped 3 interceptions for him and his team, and he couldn't convert? And for some odd reason, a guy who used to boot Scoogie early in his career couldn't scramble for a good 9-10 yards to get in position to go for it on 4th down. Each and every time, it has come down to either Aaron Rodgers' defense or Aaron Rodgers. No more excuses.
I know one thing. Y'all better watch your mouth talking about first cousins like that, man. I'm just saying.
All right. We're going to move on and go from Aaron Rodgers in the north to DeShaun Watson in the south. And I have heard so much about DeShaun Watson simply just showing up to training camp. Not how did he look, not what was his performance. It was just the fact that, whoa, DeShaun Watson is at the Texans training camp. He's there. So I don't want to take a lot of time discussing the off the field because as we've discussed on this show numerous times, listen, the allegations are out there. We know what it is. I want to stick with the fact that DeShaun Watson, number one, is even in the Houston Texans training camp. And number two, that now teams are calling for him. However, you're going to have to forget a king's ransom. You're going to have to give a Titans ransom, 3 first-rounders, and probably some money or something else in order to pull DeShaun Watson from a place that he doesn't want to be. So, Tyrek, talk to me about DeShaun Watson and just the impact you think he's going to make this season, be it either sitting on the bench and not playing for the Texans, maybe going somewhere else, or maybe, here's the third caveat, actually playing for the Houston Texans this season.
Man, I don't know. You know, just this morning, he had 10, I want to say 10 cases filed against him.
22.
22. I'm sorry, I'm talking about just this morning. I think it was like 10. I think it was 10 criminal. I got to go back and look at it.
None are criminal. None are criminal. And that nonsense right there, none are criminal.
I'm just telling you what I read, Alex. I have to go back and find it. I'll find it at some point while y'all talking. But I don't think he's playing this year, honestly. I don't see it happening. Right now, I know he's on the commissioner's exempt list, I want to say.
Not yet.
He's not on there?
Not yet.
No, he's not on there yet.
Not one time. I don't want to interrupt you, but I'm trying to let you know.
You interrupted me. Go ahead, talk.
I'm trying to let you know because you're giving out bad information. You called me out last week. I'm calling out this week. Not one case. Not one. But it's going to happen during this season. Not one.
But let me tell you what the difference is. When I called you out last week, you couldn't admit to it. I'm wrong. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. You're wrong. Not one case is going to be done before the season is done this year. Every single case that he will face will happen in February after this season. And not one case is criminal. Each and every one of them are civil. Continue.
And to your point, what it is, Ty, is 2 women with new allegations among 10 are going to file police complaints against him. That is what we have seen. That came out today.
Okay. Well, I knew it was something similar to it. I don't think. I know he's with Port of Camp. I don't see him playing. That's just my opinion, though.
What I saw was that he is facing 22 separate civil lawsuits. And so I think that, that obviously does something to, and, I know we don't want to have the off the field on here, but I mean, that's going to have to play a role in it because who wants to pick that up? With the possibility of, okay, so we do all this, we give away 3 first-round picks or a combination of 5 players and a pick, and we go and get him, but we don't know what's going to happen in February. Those are 22 cases. You do have to look at the off-field problems. Now, I do think he's a fantastic quarterback. I don't know what to say about the Texans organization as far as this goes. It just seems real funny, the timing of it. As soon as he wanted out, this is when all this popped up. I think he's a great quarterback. He's definitely top 5, top 6, absolutely. And whoever gets him is lucky to have him. But do you want to take on those problems of off the field? You have to include it in there.
I will, Megan, and I will answer that question because if you look at it right now, and you just said it yourself, if you consider DeShaun Watson right now to be among the 32 quarterbacks starting in the NFL, if you consider him top 6, what does that tell me? That tells me there are 26 other teams out there who might be willing to pick up the flyer and pick up the headache off the court stuff as opposed to those other 5 that won't. So I will say this to you. As I've always known, and I don't like to use this, but Alex said it to start the show, All DeShaun Watson needs is what you have, my dear. It's air and opportunity. If there is a team that can deal with the media frenzy that is going to come with DeShaun Watson being in your locker room, but it produces you maybe a playoff appearance, maybe even a wild card weekend, a divisional round weekend appearance, there are some owners who would be like, the product is there. Maybe we do this for 1 year because we know come February, everything else, then the darkness, Mr. Fleming, I'll kick it over to you, will then eventually come to the light.
All right, let me set some records straight because there's a lot of bad information going around and I don't like it. I get sick and tired when I have to do my part in doing research and then people just regurgitate whatever the hell they hear. So let me set the record straight. Busby has made a lot of the same condescending calls on some of these sexual harassment, discrimination, advocacy quotes with the organization to take away some of the money from DeShaun Watson's pocket. Busby lives 1 block and 2 streets down from the owners of the Houston Texans. Put 2 and 2 together. The original was 1 sexual assault claim. Then it became 2. Then it became 4. Then it became 10. Then it became a damn circus. All filed from the same office who didn't want to give up any information to the Houston Police Department because they didn't have 1 complaint. So all of this nonsense about it being criminal, shut the hell up. Number 2, these are sexual harassment, assault claims. But each and every one of these suits is civil. Now, this isn't O.J. Simpson. We're not talking about Nicole Brown. It's civil. So we're not looking at any legal time. Oh, you're looking at a lot of money. I give you that. It could be a stain on a team, but he's playing. He may not play for the Houston Texans, but he's ripe and available. There are 3 teams who need to pursue DeShaun Watson. The Denver Broncos, with Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton, and with Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon, they have the squad right now to compete in the AFC West. Because I'm telling you right now, Herbert is going to light up a lot of teams in that division. And he's still got to deal with Big Daddy Mahomes. Imagine if Denver had DeShaun Watson. Yeah, good thing 7 teams make the division now instead of just 6. 2, the Miami Dolphins. I don't know if you have faith in Tua, but they have a team that's built now. And considering how charitable the Houston Texans have been when it comes to the picks with the Dolphins, considering that they gave a 1st-round pick for the right tackle that's playing for the Dolphins, and the 3rd pick in this year's draft that they gave to the Dolphins, hell, wouldn't it be sense just to give the Dolphins the quarterback since he's not happy there in Houston anymore? Plus, is there anybody that's going to argue that he's better than Tua? I mean, really? And then there's a dark horse that even I don't like, but I don't have to worry about it because they're in salary cap hell. The New Orleans Saints. Look, Drew Brees was holding them back because he couldn't throw downfield, but he was the master at the slant routes and intermediate routes. Jameis is going to give you turnovers. Saint fans, if you're listening, I'm letting you know, Jameis is going to turn the ball over. All right? A Tiger doesn't change his stripes, even if he gets LASIK surgery. And Taysom Hill, if the Saints had money, they would have went after DeShaun Watson yesterday. All the cases are civil. All of them are after money. Busby's a friend of the organization. When this all comes to light, I hope DeShaun Watson sues them for every penny that they damn well got. Rich for seeking freedom. Check out the article, Football World, because it's a football world and we all just live in it.
All right, fair enough. Mike, John, I'm going to give you guys your moment. I got to take a real quick break because I'm up on time. I got to promote my brother Ty Ray and his show. Everybody check it out. More of the Sports Arena. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Sports Arena. Your man, Eric Wilson. All right, let me get my guys, John Shear and Mike Caratanudo, in here to continue this conversation with DeShaun Watson. So, gentlemen, I'm going to let y'all take the floor and discuss this. Again, What do we see happening with him this season? And I know, as Alex has alluded to and Megan has spoke to, and I definitely want to get Ty in here as well on it. Week one, here's my question to both of you. Is DeShaun Watson going to be the starting quarterback for the Houston Texans? John Shear.
I think he'll be on the roster, but I don't think he'll be playing. I have seen no way that he's going to be comfortable with that. I see no way they're going to be comfortable with starting him. Alex was right on the off-the-field stuff, completely wrong whenever it comes to where he should go. Denver Broncos makes no sense. They went and got Bridgewater. They spent a draft pick on getting Bridgewater, and they got Locke, which I don't believe in either guy, but for some reason they seem to think that that's going to work out somehow there. Saints don't have the money. They somehow, for some reason, believe that Taysom Hill is like this Swiss Army knife, their guy. So that's not going to happen. And then the Miami Dolphins are already happy with what they got in Tua. That's Brian Flores' guy. So they're not getting rid of Tua. They're not going to trade all that draft capital whenever they went and got all that draft capital these past couple years. They built up the farm, basically, kind of like you do in baseball. They built that up. They're not going to trade that all away just to get DeShaun Watson. And what the Texans are asking is unreasonable, and they know that. The reason they're asking is that is because nobody can get that price. And by doing that, they're trying to look good. They're trying to maintain their image by saying, well, at least we tried. We put him out there. Nobody took the bait. That's what they're doing. They're playing games with this. I mean, we all know that there's no way anybody's going to trade.
John. It's called a negotiation. It's not. That's
there's no negotiation in asking for 5 for high pick.
Okay, listen, that's their starting point. But when somebody calls up, they're not going to be like, okay, we're just going to give you this. They go back and forth. My point earlier to Miami making sense is, look, I'm not saying he doesn't like Tua, but if you trade Tua for Watson, it's not 3 first-round picks anymore. It's probably Tua, a first and a third, and then you also get DeShaun Watson, and I'd say a second and a fourth back. Because again, you could do that. You wouldn't be giving up 3 firsts. Or if they said, well, we want 3 first-round picks, they're going to be like, there's no way on God's green earth, and we'll send you our backup quarterback. Have a good time for 3 first-round picks. I'm just saying, as of this second right now, I'm taking DeShaun Watson over Tua. I don't care where Tua is playing. It's nothing to do with him being a Dolphin. I'm saying I'm taking DeShaun Watson over him. That being said, with all the like they're saying, what else was he going to do? Of course he's going to report to camp. He's not going to get fined. He's not on the commissioner's list, so he's not going to get fined because, like we're saying, he's going to have to pay a lot of money.
That's the only reason he showed up.
Well, it's not criminal yet, but it's good faith in him to show up too. Because he could not show up and say, "Well, the legal matters," and he could take the quote unquote high road and say, "Well, I don't want to be a distraction to the team," when he purposely doesn't want to be there anyway. And all this stuff, like Alex just said, it came out today. It's not going to hit until February. Now, to your point, the Texans draft capital, that whole point, or what they're at, their asking price. If you're only going to have them for February, and through the Super Bowl. Obviously through February. And it's not criminal. And yes, I get a lot of these people piling on, want money. And I'm not saying that who knows if it goes even further, that the criminal doesn't come out of it. Somebody says, you know what, I want to go further with this. They're being ridiculous. I'm not saying he's guilty. We've talked about this, but I'm just saying from a football standpoint, hold on real quick. From a football standpoint, you need to show up, but if the Broncos do make sense for me, because you could ship Bridgewater again if you wanted to. But I'm just saying the Dolphins with Tua definitely have that piece.
But let me ask you this, because you guys keep saying, well, you don't know what you're going to get after this season. You don't know how many games. How many games does he get suspended, realistically? It's probably not even a whole season. This isn't criminal. And these are civil suits.
And it wouldn't happen until next season. It wouldn't happen.
I know, but I'm saying when it does happen, how many games realistically is he going to get? 8?
At least they hit Zeke with 6.
The NFL hasn't shown much whenever it comes to suspending guys. They just kind of throw stuff out. I see 8 at max. DeShaun Watson has a good history, so this will be his first strikes in the NFL. I see 6 or 8 at max. If you're willing to trade for a guy that young, that good, you go ahead and pull the trigger, because you can eat 6 to 8 games next year, and then boom, you got a young stud for the rest of his career on your team. So you jump all over that train.
Mr. Shear, there's a reason why I said the Dolphins, the Saints, and Denver. Now, the Saints don't have money. They broke. Like the little Caesar Dome, pizza.
They believe in
That's their
Taysom
own
Hill, and I
damn
don't
fault.
know why.
Well, I'm glad they're dumb. That means the Bucs are going to have an easy division title this year. Let's not worry about the Aints. Denver, you need somebody that's going to compete with Herbert and Mahomes. Real talk, because Herbert is coming and Mahomes is here. We're not worried about Carr. He's stuck in Vegas and Gruden's trying to get rid of him. Miami makes the most sense. You've already rebuilt the offensive line. You got a running back behind Myles Gaskin that can help him with pass protection. You got Devontae Parker, Jalen Waddle, and a lot of good wide receivers. And the defense is legit.
Will
And the
Fuller,
only
former
people-
Texan.
Former Texan. And the only people
But
you
what
have to
about the
deal with
Eagles?
is,
They're still in the running.
what
They-
about the Eagles?
I'm just saying their name is still being thrown in the mix. I'm just asking.
Have you
a question.
seen that
I'm just
roster?
I
asking
was
a
going
question.
to
Have you
stay
seen that
neutral in
Just
this.
asking a
I was
question.
Because if the
going
Texans
to
want to be
stay
mean and
neutral
turn
in
to
this.
Philly, they can. That's
But since Megan Price brought it up, I was not even going to bring up my team. But
Their
since
name is
Megan
in the
Price
running.
went that route, it is. But Megan, here's the thing. I think this is the first time I'm going to say something to you that a man shouldn't say to a woman. No, you roll and shut your mouth, okay? This is my team, not your team. And you being a hated Cowboys fan.
I mean, I just did my research. That's all.
And you being a hated Cowboys fan, hating my team, because I know you do.
I'm not
secretly,
hating.
even
I'm
though-
not saying it. I'm asking, would he be a good fit there?
Would he be? Of course, he'd be a good
quarterback
fit.
they have.
Of course, he'd be a good fit. You're damn right. He'd be the best
Okay,
quarterback
so
we
why
have. Mike.
leave y'all out the conversation? I just want to know what's
Because
up.
right now, this ain't about us. This is about DeShaun Watson and what he's going to do with Houston. Now, trust me, we don't have 3 first-rounders. And if I know Howie Roseman, he might be cynical, but he ain't stupid. Okay? That's what I'm saying. Howie Roseman making that kind of move, I would seriously have to quote Alex's line. I would fly to Philly myself and say, bruh, come here. Come, right now, me and you finna go to be drug tested right now. And he'd
Right
look at me
now.
like, say what? I'd be like, yeah, I'm going to say it again.
Say it
You
again.
need to be drug tested, but I'm not bitter. I'm just saying. That's my mic drop moment, okay? Let me put it to y'all like that.
Hey, put some respect on the Eagles, man.
I'm not disrespecting.
I'm talking about you. You're talking about everybody. Put some respect on it.
On my team
worst
than
roster in
me.
football.
But I'm also a realist when it comes to the success
Man.
and the failures of my team.
Yeah, but
DeShaun Watson coming to Philadelphia would be a great asset. And can Philly deal with that type of media frenzy? We've dealt with T.O. and everybody else. I mean, we've dealt with Michael Vick. If y'all think we can't deal with DeShaun Watson, think again. What I'm saying to you is, at this moment, it does not make sense for us to make that deal. It does not make sense because here's the thing, and I'll even give Mr. Fleming some credit. We don't have what the Texans are looking for. I want to keep my young, hungry, scrappy nucleus right now. And trying to give those guys away who I think in the next 2 to 3 years can be guys that are going to be recognized and respected even by one Mr. Alex Fleming. Right now, we're not in that position. So therefore, I say to you, even though our name has been kind of floated out there a little bit, we throwing 50-50 balls. No, he ain't coming. If he comes to us, please believe if he comes to us, it's going to be some smoke in the city. It's going to be some fun from Philly, and we're going to win that division. But
the reason I ask is because Jalen Hurts is the only quarterback to come out of OU that I actually like. Like, I like Hurts.
Megan.
He needs some development. I hate OU. He needs some development. Don't get me
Welcome
wrong.
to
He
the
needs some
SEC. You guys are going to
development.
get slaughtered.
What?
Megan,
Well, that's not till
Eric,
2024, though.
John, Tyree, Michael. The real, actual, solidified answer to where DeShaun Watson should go is the Carolina Panthers. He went to school in Clemson. Carolina claims North Carolina and South Carolina. They have a good offensive line. They'll have a fan base. He went to school there. They have the quarterback, DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson, with a defense that's been rebuilt with J.C. Horn, Jeremy Chin, Adams, Burns, and all them boys. But they don't have the 3 first-round picks. But that's the team that he needs to go to.
But hold on. What I said to John, you guys, 3 first-round picks. You name me one trade where a team said this is what they're asking for a player. You name me one trade where every single thing was met. It's called negotiation.
The Saints and the Dolphins with Ricky Williams.
Herschel Walker back in the day with the Cowboys.
Well, that's because of no, they didn't get the Cowboys. They wanted Herschel Walker. They just said, we'll give you all this and these draft picks. Oh, and if you cut these players, you get more draft picks. Why would you keep the players? But anyway, I'm just saying, okay, those are 3 examples. It's a possibility. There's no team. Alex, you said it, though. Even criminal or civil or not, it's because of the case. No team's given up 3 first-rounders. That's why I agree with you. Denver's a great fit. I'm not going to hate on Sam Darnold because he had no chance with the Jets, and I still think he can obviously play, and he's going to show it in Carolina. But it does pain me to say not to blow Philly up, but he would be a great fit in Philly. I'm just saying with Tua, I think it's better for the Texans because you get a young quarterback back. But Philly, definitely for DeShaun Watson, I would hate to see it. I don't want to see it, and I hope you don't see it.
I think he'd be in the same position he's in with the Texans.
Josh,
Bad roster.
I actually don't.
Bad roster. It's too bad you trade all that draft capital when your roster's already bad. And
Tua would be.
I don't think the Eagles are as bad as everybody's making them out to be.
I don't think so, Megan. I agree with Megan.
I mean, I'm a diehard Cowboys fan, but I don't think they're as bad as everybody's making them out to be.
I will say this. I remember when somebody else's team up here had the worst roster in football about 2 years ago. So I don't know why they keep running their mouth.
So the Dolphins had a plan. The Eagles don't have a direction.
Cowboys?
No,
the Eagles have zero direction. They don't know what they're doing. They might be completely rebuilding in a year. They don't even know what Jalen Hurts is. Nobody knows.
I'm just
saying they're not going to
get 3 first-rounders. They're not getting 3 first-rounders.
We will move this on to Wednesday's conversation. We could spend all night talking about this. We'll move this to the Wednesday conversation. Let's transition into the Olympics because Megan Price.
They was terrible.
Megan Price, I have a question for you.
Yes.
What is wrong with our men's basketball team? Is it the players? Is it Coach Pop? Or is it just the fact that they have not been all together until just a couple, maybe hours ago or a day ago? Megan Price, what is wrong with our men's Olympic basketball team?
Okay, well, I want to say that I think it's a combination of all that, honestly, and I think you do have to put Pop in the conversation there. Pop is a systematic coach. His offense always has been a system, always will be a system, and I don't think that's necessarily how the NBA is played anymore. Maybe the rest of the world, but we're not gelling together at this moment. So we just lost to France, 83-76. It's the first loss in almost 20 years. They snapped France. Rudy Gobert and Evan Fournier. Like Rudy Gobert, who I do not respect. I'm not a big fan. I'm not a big fan of him at all as far as big men. And they really just made our team look like some chumps. But I think we looked like some chumps before the game was even played. I don't know if y'all saw this video that came out with KD and Bam Adebayo. They were kind of getting into it because Bam didn't return a ball to KD that KD supposedly made. So I think everybody involved, Bam and KD, looked extremely unprofessional. KD looked very, very petty. And then Bam, you should be more professional. You should be there helping with your teammates.
Bam should be professional. Kevin Durant should be more professional, crying about not getting the ball.
Bam shouldn't have kept the ball. You're practicing as a team. You're practicing as a team. You're supposed to pass the ball to the person shooting it. I mean, it's just what it is. But I'm saying KD looked worse than Bam. Absolutely. KD looked very
KD gonna make another burner account. Gonna make another burner account.
No, of course he is. But also
I'll be roast John on it too.
But on that, you also have to think about there was reports that several of them were out partying until 3 and 4 in the morning before the game. I think that's another issue, the immaturity level right there. The issue with KD, I think it was very immature. Everybody involved, but KD looked the worst. And then do you see any of that kind of stuff happening in San Antonio where Pop is the coach? He doesn't put up with that type of stuff whatsoever. So obviously those players are not going to like having to deal with a coach that doesn't deal with that whatsoever. And then also, true, they have not had a whole lot of time to gel together. But I'm very unimpressed, and we will be lucky to medal at all.
Let me ask you one question. Let me ask you guys one question. And Alex, you can go first. There's no – like everybody talks about the heyday in the 92 Dream Team, right? But there was a bunch of leaders and there was a bunch of accountability. and they held their teammates accountable. And from everything Megan just said, I mean, you want to go out and get to see Olympics, but they're whining and they're not accountable. Who on this team is an actual true leader and will actually step up? That's what I want to know.
I mean,
go ahead, Tyler.
Now he said you first. Go ahead, Alex. I got you after.
All right. I remember when we talked about this about 4 or 5 weeks ago, and I mentioned that the team was undersized. I was right, and I don't like being right. JaVale McGee's not the answer. They didn't go after Dwight Howard. They could desperately use Duncan Robinson because he was a guy who played defense, a facilitator, and hit open three-point shots. This team is live or die by the three in ISO ball. And you know what? That 92 Dream Team squad, the ass whoopings they gave the planet, the rest of the world was like, you know what? We're never going to be embarrassed like that until 96 and then until 2000. The world has been licking their chops to beat the USA basketball team because it's a defining moment. They don't give a damn if they medal. They're there to try to beat us because we have been whipping their ass like redheaded stepchilds for decades. And now people are giving their best shot against a team that doesn't have conformity, doesn't have synchronicity, and obviously is bitching and complaining about who's getting the ball and who's not. I don't like Evan Fournier any more than you do, but I covered this man for multiple years, and what he said was absolutely true. By themselves, they're quite formidable. As a team, you can beat them because they're ego-driven. And the last person I'd be blaming is Pop, but Pop, you lost 2 exhibition games, and you lost the opening game of the Olympics. Now, I have nothing but love for you, but when your father does something wrong and you're old enough to say something, you gotta say something. They do better off of college coaching than they ever did off of Popovich because this system isn't working. Yeah. I don't believe you're going to win the gold medal with this system.
Right, but who's the one player should be accountable, though? Who's the one player should be a leader?
Well, this is my thing, Mike, and this is my issue. You know, I'm looking at it from a basketball standpoint. You don't have anybody that makes the game easier for other people. You know what I mean? As much as we criticize LeBron, you don't have a LeBron, you don't have a Steph, you don't have a Chris Paul. Nobody I'll use the 08 team for example. The 08 team was set up so much better, not because they had so much better players, but the roster was set up a whole lot better. And I didn't really realize until yesterday how bad the roster is set up. Like Alex said, you're undersized for one. For two, everybody is shooting threes. Like I seen KD take a contested three, and you're like, dude, you can't blow past Rudy Gobert or whoever the heck is guarding you. Like I see y'all dudes kill Evan Fournier all the time. Nobody can go by it. What's my man named Jason Tatum? You can't go by Evan Fournier. So I mean, it's the issue of somebody needs to say, and I don't know. Obviously, Mike said who's the point? I'm at the point to finger at Dame. I'm at the point to finger at KD. You're the 2 best players on the team, and KD is. I'm disappointed in KD right now because KD is making it easier for all these KD haters. Super LeBron stands. He's making it very, very easy for them right now. Because, like Alex said, the rest of the world has been licking their chops, and they have caught up. I mean, you have, out of the top 10 players in the NBA, I would say 4 of them are foreign. Luka, Embiid, Jokic, and Giannis.
Yeah. They haven't even played Luka yet.
I got you, but what I'm saying is, But what I'm saying, no, Luka had 28.
No, Luka was balling.
48.
Luka was balling.
But what I'm saying is, John, when have we ever been in a position where out of your top 10 players in the NBA, almost 50% of them are foreign? We've never seen this before. We've never seen this, and I think out of Luka, with the exception of Luka, 3 of them are bigs.
Evan Fournier ain't one of them.
No, he's not, and there's no excuse why they're lost. I mean, I'm not defending them, but I'm just saying, like I agree with Alex, it's a lot of one-on-one. That's all I've seen. One-on-one. And then when he pull up threes, like, they're not making the defense work. You're not making them rotate. Like, these guys can't guard y'all. But, I mean, honestly, I think they could have, like, you don't have the Michael Reds you don't have the role players. Like, you don't have. Where's your shooters? Why didn't you try and get, like Alex said, Duncan Robinson? Why didn't you try to get like somebody that could just stand in the corner and shoot and play defense? Like, I like the addition of Keldon Johnson because he's a role player. But some of these other guys, they just like Levine and them, like they just want to have the ball all the time.
Yeah, but like Drew Holiday just got there too. So you're talking defense, but Drew Holiday just got there.
Yeah, well, Drew Holiday played good though.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, and he made no excuses.
Yeah.
He's the one that I was going to say that stepped up because he's the one who said there is no excuses. We need to play better. And I mean, that sounds like, to Megan's point, that sounds like a guy that's played for Pop for a long time. Now, if
maybe they should feed into a system.
No, the rules for the international system should complement the NBA game. You're playing 10 minutes, not 12 minutes. You got 5 fouls instead of 6 fouls. You only have 5 seconds at the free throw line instead of 10. So you don't have to worry about Giannis. This game was built and set up so that way the U.S. men's basketball team has been the pillar for this game for quite some time. And for some odd reason, we got people who are either second class or second rate because we're not sending our superstars, and they're complacent. They look like they don't even want to be there, and they don't have any chemistry. These are NBA players who are arguing over who's passing the ball to who.
Right, and to Ty's point with that, like that 2008 team, because Kobe was on that team, right? I mean, Kobe's the guy that understood, like, yeah, I mean, obviously grew up, and like I say, it's easy to refer to the 92 team because everybody just sees, like, obviously all the Hall of Famers. We all saw that. And the talent, but they moved the ball. Like, guys got theirs. I mean, Charles Barkley, I think, ended up being the leading scorer, if I'm correct. I'll look it up, Alex. I'm not trying to throw out bad facts, but I'm pretty sure Barkley was the leading scorer on that team. But to fast forward to when Kobe was on the team, too, I mean, I know LeBron was there, Dwayne Wade, but Kobe made sure you guys played their roles. Even though Kobe wants the ball, Kobe moved the ball. To your point, Alex, so it's the international rules, and they understood, like, we need to take these guys down, and we should be able to, and they did. This team, again, I think Ray had that comment, this team's true. They're all playing individual ball. They're all playing hero ball, and I don't get it. That part I don't get because I'm with Ty. If I'm Dame and you're a point guard, it's like, guys, move the ball. Play this.
Carmelo Anthony begged to be on this team, and for some odd reason, Carmelo Anthony couldn't make this team. You know how many Olympic gold medals Carmelo Anthony has? You know how many times Carmelo Anthony
was in the running. He was in the running for 6th man of the year this season.
And you're telling me you can't find a roster spot for Carmelo Anthony, who's desperately needed on this team?
So let me say this. I think what everybody is saying, and shout out to our man Ray Lynn for chiming in, because I think what he said speaks volumes. Everybody talked about the solo aspect of this game. You have a bunch of quote unquote ego-driven individuals who want the ball, who want to play hero ball, who want to be the guy that stands out during the Olympics. And the Olympics is not that. The Olympics is about coming together, not divisiveness. And I think that's why teams like France and Nigeria and these other teams, as Alex has alluded to, were licking their chops because they saw the lineup. See, people were, for a while, and I'll go so far as to say probably the last 16 years maybe, people kind of were intimidated because they knew that USA was bringing the best. They were bringing the hungriest. They were bringing the dogs, if you will. And each one of them was willing to accept their role as either being a facilitator, as being a defensive a juggernaut, or as being the offensive guy. We all knew that they all had their clutch moments, but at the end of the day, it was about the team concept. And I think that is what Pop needs to stress to this team, saying we're not playing team ball. We're out there playing ISO. We're out there playing, oh, tonight it's your night, and tonight it's your night, and we'll draw a name out of a hat, and then you get all the shots tonight. We have to come back to what it was. And until we do, I still say we're going to win a medal. I have to believe that, because I believe that even though, to Ty's point, 4 out of the top 10 players in the NBA are all from the international, I still have to believe that we still have the best players right now, with the exception of Carmelo, because Alex, you're absolutely right. Carmelo should have been there, but I think Carmelo would have brought that leadership. So to the Dame Lillards of the world, and to the rest of the guys, Kevin Durant and everybody else, figure it out, because basketball has been the one sport that we've been able to go and say, we got this. We can't say that right now. So, I want to move on because we're almost out of time here. And I do want to focus on one last piece. And trust me, these conversations are not over by any stretch. If you missed anything from tonight, join us Wednesday night. But college football, Texas and Oklahoma are set to potentially leave the Big 12 and go to another conference. And the Pac-12, the SEC, the Big 10, the ACC are like Alex, they are licking their chops, waiting for nothing but air and opportunity. So, Tyree, Megan, John, Alex, Mike, what does this mean if, in fact, Texas and Oklahoma do, in fact, leave the Big 12? Tyree, I'm going to start with you. Jump to Megan. John Shear, I'm going to give you the last word on this one, my brother, because you have a very knowledgeable way of kind of wrapping everything in a nice, neat little bow for us. But, Ty, please.
More teams for Alabama and the SEC to smack up on.
Oh.
I like the I like the Longhorns and I like the OU, man. But I just feel like that. I mean, I don't want to disrespect nobody. I just feel like down south, man, them boys different. They just I'm gonna say it like that. And if you know, you know. Them boys just different, man. They got linemen 300 pounds running 4.5s and 4.6. Them boys down there, they just different. I mean, I'm not saying that because I mean, and to give credit, like I know John is a Miami guy. Like, man, South Florida.
No. Let me stop you right there. No.
Stop me. Let me finish.
Don't call me a Miami guy.
You like the Heat and the Dolphins. So you're not a Miami guy. You like the Heat and the Dolphins, right?
I'm a Florida Gator fan.
Okay, I got you, but I wasn't even talking about
Miami Hurricane guy.
I wasn't even talking about the Hurricanes. If you were listening, I wasn't talking about the Hurricanes. I'm just saying you're a Southern Florida guy. Them guys down there, sort of, I don't know, them Southern Florida guys. To me, that's where the best athletes come from. That's just my opinion.
California. Oh, sorry, Megan. Go ahead.
I'm going to say I'm not exactly sure why, but I think this is going to be the demise of the Big 12. Big 12 has only had 10 teams for the last decade to begin with. West Virginia joined in 2011, and they have already come out and said that they're probably next to leave. Now, they haven't officially said that they're leaving. They have not renewed their media rights for 2024 to 2025. So it's not something that's going to happen within at least 18 months to 2 years. We're not going to see this happen. But I think the Big 12 will be non-existent after this. I'm not sure how I feel about joining the SEC. It will be nice to play A&M again. I have missed those rivalry games. But I don't know. UT has struggled. OU has had some good teams. UT has struggled for the last decade. So I don't know how well we're going to do in the SEC. SEC is one of the best conferences out there. It'll become a 16-team super conference. I don't know if we're going to have a lot of success, but I will say this. The collegiate athlete world is completely changing. It's going to look very different by 2025. So not sure exactly why, but that's probably why we're looking to change, because the entire collegiate athlete world is changing. I hope we have success, but I don't know. Like you said, Alabama, that the South right there, they have it's a different world down there when it comes to football. But don't get me wrong, they ain't made movies about y'all like that. We got Friday Night Lights, we got Varsity Blues. All of those are about Texas football. So don't be. But here's my thing about that. We just don't recruit well in Texas. Texas Tech got the death penalty some years ago. They got the death penalty some years ago. And so we don't recruit well. Most of the players on OU that are successful were born and raised in Texas. So don't think that we don't produce great athletes, because we do. We just don't stay.
I don't want to interrupt Megan, but I'm going to tell you this right now, Tay. Take all your best players in Alabama and put them up the best players in Texas, and we beat you by 50.
Well, first of all, California's got the most NFL players between California, Florida, and Texas. So let's just say that. But California's got the most. So if you're going to go speed and talent, I'm going to go to the West Coast because they come from California. And Mater Dei had the hugest winning streak in the country ever as a high school program. But the SEC, to answer your question, John, look, Ty, to answer to your question, Oklahoma, and again, some of those guys are from Texas, Megan. I'm not going to deny that. But you talk about offensive lines, maybe outside of Well, Oklahoma usually every year. I mean, as a kid, top offensive line. They have almost all their linemen are up for whatever offensive awards. They usually have the best tackles and guards. I will say the best centers probably come out of the Big Ten. Wisconsin's had a huge run on centers. I'm not saying they're not good in Alabama, but Alex knows what I'm talking. Exactly, it's right there. But you want to talk about speed positions and talent before I get to the SEC. I just say come to the corner, come look at the corners in the Pac-12, and don't tell me they can't ball in the NFL because a ton of them have. That being said, going to the SEC to me, it cracks me up because they're talking about going to 12 teams. So you brought up an interesting point. The landscape looking different. We're going to get a 12-team playoff, which is cool. But the whole thing with the SEC, I'm with you, Ty. Yes, Bama is money. And yes, Auburn has had its runs. Georgia's down a little bit of a run. But I'm sorry, it is not the best conference. Vanderbilt has the smartest people in the conference. We all know that because it's tougher to get into Vanderbilt than any school in the conference. Anytime they were even had a chance for a bowl game or were any good.
Yeah, but
Kentucky has a good season. Hold on. Kentucky has a good season every 40 years. Old Miss has to cheat to win, and they just got cramped. Their corners are always trash. Mississippi State, okay, yes, I'm not being a homer. When Dak was there, that was their highest ranking. They're usually a bye for these teams. So, again, what have they done? I'm just saying the bottom half of the SEC is like the bottom half of every other conference.
But, Mike, let me ask you a question. You do realize that other than Ohio State in 2014, the last 14 champions have came from the Southern Hemisphere of the United States.
I understand that. I'm saying there's dominant teams. Okay, but you're telling me Vanderbilt prepared them for that? Vanderbilt's trash.
The last 14, Mike, we're not talking about the last 5.
Because they can match up with everybody in the country. The last 14 years, Vanderbilt's been trash. So is Kentucky, except for 1 year. I'm just saying, yes,
Mike,
because Alex, to your point, they get the talent. They do get the talent, Ty. I'm not going to deny that. Nick Saban can. Auburn can. How many times does Georgia choke, Ty? Answer that question. Georgia's supposed to be so great. They get a rematch against Bama. It was close and they lose.
How many times Oklahoma choked?
Last 14. Fine. That's all I'm going to say.
Guys, let me in. Mike, let me in. All right. As a guy who used to live in Texas and can go with Megan's point, let me tell you a little something about Texas football. Texas high school football isn't a sport. It's a religion. Friday Night Lights, Mojo. I dare anybody to want to play the Sweetwater High School football team. They will embarrass you like Prince on the basketball court. You want offensive linemen, you want wide receivers, you want your best quarterbacks, whether it be Drew Brees or Matthew Stafford or some of these other cats like Baker Mayfield. They come out of Texas. Texas is the home of football. Florida, a close second, and California is probably the stepbrother. Here's my point. Texas A&M left the Big 12 because they didn't want to deal with the recruiting and the nonsense from the Longhorns and the Oklahoma Sooners. If Texas and OU join the SEC, look for Texas A&M to get the hell out of Dodge and join somewhere else. Number 2, Nebraska went to the Big 10. That should tell you something. Nebraska was a powerhouse in the Big 12. They're not doing much in the Big 10. And I remember when it was the SWAC University, the SWAC Conference, the SWC, before it was the Big 8. Now, Arkansas is a backpedal in the SEC, as Michael was mentioning. Tennessee has fallen off and onto their third coach in 5 years in the SEC. Mississippi State, joke. They haven't done anything since Dak. And Ole Miss hasn't been good since Eli Manning. So let's not pretend that top to bottom that the SEC is running things. You got one Cerebus. Yeah, I said Cerebus in the SEC, and everybody else is beatable. And when I interviewed Nick Saban, he says he doesn't like to lose, he loves recruiting, and this is like chess to him. That's why people go to Alabama to prepare themselves for the NFL. And it only makes sense because 18 of the players that went to get drafted got drafted. As far as the Big 12 is concerned, this is all a big money grab. Everybody's going to get spread out. Maybe the Big East, the Pac-12, the Big 10, everybody gets it. Don't expect the Pac-12 to pick up TCU or Texas Tech because they actually have rules and regulations. They don't want those sorry teams anyway. But I believe this is the starting domino that's going to be the downfall for the NCAA.
All right, final word by John Scheer, and then we are out of here. This conversation will again, as the rest of our conversation tonight, ladies and gentlemen, will be continued on Wednesday night. But final word goes to my man, Sideline Sports and Cardiac Kane, Mr. John Scheer.
Hey, you guys said it all. I really heard a lot today Mike might not like this, about USC and UCLA potentially getting plucked out of there and getting pulled to the Big Ten and becoming a pod of the Big Ten all the way on the West Coast. So that is something potentially in a couple years that might be happening where USC and UCLA get plucked from the Pac-12 and moved to the Big Ten. So just be on the lookout for that in a couple years. Mike, you might not like that, but that potentially is coming.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
We will keep this conversation going. Make sure you join all of us Wednesday night. I'm sure as the Aaron Rodgers saga unfolds, him being in training camp, we'll see what happens. We'll see if any team from the NFL comes calling with regards to DeShaun Watson. Yes, sir.
Keenan Allen is trying to recruit Devontae Adams after this year. He wants him to join him with the Chargers.
More on that as well. And, of course, we will keep the whole Texas, Oklahoma leaving the Big 12, potentially going to a different conference. That and so much more. And hopefully when we come back on Wednesday, USA men's basketball team will actually have won a game and we can start celebrating and saying we're going to win the gold. But from Mike Caratanudo, Believe in the Pac-12, Alex Fleming, Next Gen Sports Network, John Shear, Sideline Sports, and Cardiac Kane. Check out my man Ty Ray tomorrow night. Say what? Say it again. 8:30, Facebook, iHeart, and YouTube. And as always, our girl doing it all, covering the Dallas Wings, covering the WNBA, covering the USA women's basketball team, not just the 5-on-5, but also the 3-on-3, 806 Sports, and the Sip-Off. Our girl, the Empress that is, Miss Megan Price, your man Eric Wilson here for the Sports Arena. We will see y'all on Wednesday. Have a great evening. See ya.